follow that. And your exam wise performance, I would not say it was wow, it was good. 42, 45, I think I saw. Someone got more than 50? No, I think no. More than 50 anyone got? Your MCQs were not so much satisfactory for me. So you need to you need to study. Okay, once the college reopens, no, then you're going to have offline mode of examination. In that case, you will not get the chances of taking reference from any book or any note. So what in that case, what you have to do, you have to study and give the examination. So your MCQ performance shows your status of studying. So I was not quite happy with that. Please try to improve. We will have more tests in the coming month. So please start studying well. Okay, start studying well. In the offline mode, there won't be MCQs. There will be, you will have to write, and that also you will have to write on your own. So please. Network was so poor during examination. Okay, sort of we are talking about class. Okay, no problem. Acha, so please prepare yourself accordingly. Okay, now wake up in 2021. Let us not carry the the lazy vibes of 2020, and let us wake up. You just be prepared. Anytime the college may reopen, and once the colleges reopens, you're not going to write online exam. You will be having offline mode of examination. In that case, you will have to learn the things which the teachers are teaching. Okay, so please wake up and start studying properly. That's my message for the new year. And okay, Happy New Year to all of you. Happy New Year. Okay, so the recap was, we were on the second chapter. We were about to complete that. Thank you, Saurav. We were about to complete that, and today we will take up the last topic in that chapter. Okay, the last topic. Okay, thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope the new year brings lot of happiness to all of you, to all of us rather, and we can get back to our normal mode of life. Okay, so let me share the screen, and this is going to be your last topic in this chapter, in the second chapter. We will finish this topics, traditional and modern theory of costs. Actually, these are two topics. The broad topic is theory of cost, and they are divided into two. That is traditional theory and modern theory of cost. So both the things we'll have to do. We'll have to study. All right. Today and tomorrow we will do traditional. Then rest of the 2 days we will do modern. After that, we'll move on to the markets. Markets are quite easy, but there will be problems in that, okay? I mean sums. So let us study traditional theory of cost today. So what is this traditional theory? Traditional theory distinguishes between the short run and the long run. The short run is the period during which some factors is fixed. Usually, capital, equipment, and entrepreneurship are considered as fixed in the short run. The long run is the period over which all factors become variable. So, by now, you must have some idea about fixed cost and variable cost. We were just doing in the previous topics. So this traditional theory, now this fixed cost and variable cost is again related to short run and long run. Now traditional theory will distinguish between this short run and long run. Now what is short run? Short run is the time period during which Some of the factors such as the capital equipment or the entrepreneurship will remain fixed. The entrepreneurial capacity will not change. The fixed capital investment will not change for the short period. After a certain time, the entrepreneurship capacities, that means the form of the organization, who is working, who is the main brain behind all the activities, who is taking care, is it a sole one or the sole one is taking help of some others, that will change only after a certain period of time. Once you start an organization, you start with a definite mindset and you don't change it normally in the short run. So in economics, it is said that in the short run, few of the factors which are required for generating the production process are fixed, such as the capital equipment and the entrepreneurial capacity. Okay, but in the long run, all the factors will become variable. In the long run, a period will come where the factors which are associated directly with the production, say inclusion of labor, purchase of raw material, then maintenance of the vehicles, maintenance of the machineries, all these things which are related to the production process is going to vary in the long run. So this traditional theory of cost will basically distinguish between the short run and the long run. And to understand that, you will have to go through the entire concept of short run costs of the traditional theory and also the long run costs of the traditional theory. So that is our topic of discussion in this part of the topic of theory of cost, which is traditional theory of cost we are doing today, right? So in this, first thing that we have to study is short run costs of the traditional theory. All these things should be remembered, should be memorized by you and written in your copy. Okay, otherwise you will not have a habit of writing all these notations, using the notations, drawing the diagrams, then making the formula, plotting the right figures in the diagrams. All those habits will come only if you write. So only listening to me will not serve your purpose. You will have to write whatever is being served to you by me. Okay. So let us read what is short run costs of the traditional theory. In the traditional theory of the firm, total costs will be split into mainly two groups. Okay, one formula you are seeing on your screen. So the right hand side of the formula are those two groups into which the total cost in the short run will be splitted. The first group is total fixed cost and the second group is total variable cost. So we notify it with the help of TC. TC, that is total cost, is equals to total fixed cost, that is TFC, plus total variable cost, that is TVC. Okay. Now you will have to understand what are the components that will come in this part of the TFC, that is total fixed cost. The fixed cost will include, first thing that will come is salaries of the administrative staff. There is difference between administrative staff and the general laborers who works in the production unit. They get their wages. We'll use the term wages because they get their payment on, say, daily basis, on shift basis, like that they get. And once the production process stops, once a job is done, they stops getting their wages. Okay, so that will not come in the fixed cost phenomena. What will come? Only the salaries of the administrative staff, those who are working for running the administration of the organization, their salaries will fall in the fixed cost inclusion. Okay. So the salaries that you're paying to the administrative staff is the very first component of the fixed cost. Second is depreciation of machinery. Although it is a book cost, what is depreciation? Does anyone know about this term depreciation? You are doing accounting also. By now, you should know the term, meaning of the term depreciation. Anyone, please tell me. Is the fall in the value of the asset. Okay, taken. When you are using a machinery, every year its value gets decreased, because suppose you have bought a, say, you take for example any electronic goods, say cell phone. Suppose you have bought it today, so tomorrow also if you want to sell it, you will not get the exact value of it. There will be a little bit of value that will decrease from the use that you have made during this 24 hours. So similarly, in big organizations, whenever a machinery is purchased, they are purchased at a particular price. Now that price will not remain same every year. So what the organization do is they maintain a particular cost, they maintain a particular percentage, say 10%, 5%, depending on the type of the machine, and they go on decreasing the value of the asset by that percentage. I say that following the norms, general norms of law and government regulations, the depreciation value of a machine is 5%. So what will that mean? Suppose you have bought a machine of 1 lakh rupees. Next year, at the beginning of the year, next year, the value of the machine will be 1 lakh minus 5% of 1 lakh. Like that, you will have to calculate. You'll have to go on decreasing the value of the machine every year. So that is also called wear and tear. That is also called depreciation. Depreciation is a book cost. Why is it a book cost? It is a book cost because this is not a price that you're paying to someone. It is not, although it will be shown as a cost, but this will not be a real cost that you will have to pay someone. Is it? You're not paying someone. No, you are just maintaining a record that by this amount the value of the machine has decreased. Now say after 5 years you want to sell that machine, then you can make use of those calculation and sell the machine and then have some money in your hand. But when you're just simply mentioning depreciation every year, then that is not an amount that either you're getting or giving. Either it is debiting or crediting. It's not so. It is just a amount which the record of which you are maintaining. So it is also called a book cost. Okay, so that will come in the under the heading of total fixed cost. Third thing is expenses for building depreciation and repairs. This will be when you will write the note now. Write like this: expenses for building maintenance. You write. Don't write depreciation. Depreciation you have already made. Okay, in that you have not mentioned building. No, that's why in the third point, building depreciation has been mentioned. You can also include the yearly maintenance of the building. So the third thing that will come under fixed cost is the expenses that you're incurring for the building depreciation and also for repairing it. Every year you're doing some repairs and maintenance of the building, and also the value of the building is depreciating. That is a general phenomenon. So that will also come, not only the machines but also for the building which the company is using for conducting its operation. That will also be included, the depreciation and all the expenses related to the maintenance and repairs. Okay. Fourth thing is expenses for land maintenance and depreciation, if any. The land has also is also to be maintained. Maybe some year you will put some boundary made of bamboos. In the next year you will put a boundary made of bricks and cements. So in the next year you will plot something in the land. So in order to maintain the quality of the land, you have an empty land, but you also need to maintain that land. Otherwise, the neighbors will come and acquire that land, isn't it? It happens in India. So there will have to be some expenses for maintaining that land also. Normally land doesn't have depreciation, land have appreciation. But in case some land got some dispute, some land had some mishappening, then the value of the land will also depreciate. But normally the value of the land does not depreciate, rather they appreciate, they increases. So you have, if you're mentioning depreciation, then you'll have to also mention if any. Okay, so these four things will primarily come under the heading of total fixed cost. First thing is salaries of the administrative staff, depreciation of the machinery, building, maintenance and repairs of the buildings. Then there will be land maintenance, and if there is any depreciation, that will also come under the fixed cost phenomena. Okay. Another element that may be treated in the same way as fixed cost is the normal profit, which is a lump sum including a percentage return on fixed capital and allowance for risk. Now, suppose you have a term real profit, which will be calculated by deducting your cost from the revenue. That is a real profit. But also you can maintain a normal profit. This is, a different stage of calculating the fixed cost. You may not write this line also, that will also be correct. But once you go to higher studies, you will also see an amount which is included in the accounting books of organizations in order to see that where they are standing at the moment. Say last year they had some profit they made, and next and following the trend for the last 5 years also they had made some profit. So if they have that data, they can maintain a lump sum amount of the normal profit, which will include a percentage return on the fixed capital, and also it will have a factor of risk. That it's not that following the trend you will maintain that profit. In case of any mishappenings in the economy, the profit may reduce also. That is called the allowance for risk. Say those who had prepared the accounting book of 2020, when they will prepare the accounting book of 2021 at this month, say in the month of January you are preparing the accounting books, obviously you will have some allowance for risk, because you have seen what had happened in 2020. So you will not, you cannot expect the same profit in your accounting books in the year 2021. So that will be considered as a normal profit, and you can also show it. So that will have a different level of understanding. Okay, but for now, if you have an idea of these four types of items which you can see as numbered A, B, C and D, so that includes the heading includes in the heading of total fixed cost. Okay. Now, what will be the variable cost? The raw materials, obviously, depending on the demand, you will apply for the raw materials, isn't it? You will order for the raw materials only based on the demand that you have in the market. So that raw materials will be covered in the variable cost heading. Then cost of direct labor, as I said, the salary of the administrative staff will go to the fixed cost heading, but the cost or the wages that you're paying to the laborers who are involved in the production process, that will be counted as a variable cost. So that is the second item in variable cost. Third is the running expenses of fixed capital, such as the fuel, ordinary repairs and routine maintenance. Fixed capital means all those things, those things you have bought with the help of this fixed capital. The running expenses, every day you have bought a machinery, but then you need fuel to run that machinery. So that will be counted as a variable cost. Then ordinary repairs. Suppose that one machine is being utilized for the summer production and another machine is used for the winter production. So during the summer, you have to maintain for the winter machine which is during the summer you'll have to go on maintaining the summer machine because it is completely making the production. isn't it? So it is related to production. So that part of the maintenance will be covered up as the variable cost. The machines or the amenities which you are utilizing for the production directly, maybe some extra maintenance is required. Also, you will have to maintain the other machines, so that will go to the fixed cost thing. But some extra thing which you are doing for the machine which is on the run during summer or during winter only, those will come into the variable cost heading, and the routine maintenance of that. So once you are talking about variable cost, you will have to understand it is completely related to the production in progress. The products which are getting manufactured, or the items which are obviously needed for completing that production, those items, those expenses, those costs are all your variable cost. Okay, so how will the fixed cost look like if you plot in a graph? The total fixed cost will always be a straight line parallel to the x-axis. Okay, suppose in x-axis you are plotting the output, that is the number of units being produced. If you are plotting, listen to me carefully, okay? Suppose in a particular diagram you are plotting the number of units being produced, or in a word you can say the output in the x-axis, then the total fixed cost will be a perfect straight line parallel to that x-axis, because this fixed cost is not changing with the number of units being produced. On the x-axis you are plotting the number of units being produced, but related to that number of units the total fixed cost is not changing. So it will obviously be a straight line parallel to the x-axis. Then the total variable cost in the traditional theory has broadly an inverse S shape. You can see in the figure on the right hand side, figure 4.2, this is the look of a total variable cost. This will be an inverse S, isn't it an inverse S? This is an inverse S, right? If you invert the page and draw a curve, and draw an S in an inverted position, then that will be the looks of a total variable cost curve. Okay, it has broadly an inverse shape, and this happens in what? In the traditional theory of cost. In modern theory, we will see what will be the shape. But what we are doing today, we are studying traditional theory of cost. As per the traditional theory of cost, the total fixed cost will be a straight line parallel to the x-axis, and the total variable cost will be an inverse S-shaped curve, which reflects the law of variable proportions. Okay, at some point the cost will go on increasing. After increasing, they will go on decreasing, and after once you go for broader production, they will again start to move a little bit high. You should study law of variable proportions if you are getting confused with it. We have done it. Okay, so according to the following the law of variable proportions, the inverse S shape of the total variable cost curve will appear. According to this law, at the initial stages of production with a given plant, as more of the variable factors is employed, its productivity increases and the average variable cost falls. Isn't it? This was the law of variable proportion. Go back to the discussion on law of variable proportion and you can find it out there. If more variable factors are included, okay, if more variable factors which is related to production is included, then in the initial stage, the productivity will increase. And as the productivity will increase, the average variable cost will fall. Okay, this continues until the optimal combination of the fixed and variable cost is reached. Beyond this point, as increased quantities of the variable factors are combined with the fixed factors, the productivity declines. And as the productivity will decline, then the average variable cost will start to increase. This is coming from the law of variable proportion. At some point, the productivity will stop increasing. It will become stagnant, and after that point, it will start to decline. You go on increasing the variable factors, but the productivity will not increase. Okay. This was a law of variable proportion. So following that law, since the productivity will decline, the average variable cost will rise. No productivity, no gain, but the cost is increasing. By adding the total fixed cost, now come to the total cost curve shape. By adding the total fixed cost and total variable cost, one day I think I had discussed all these things when I was discussing the stages of production, if I'm not wrong. That if you draw the average fixed cost, which is going to be a straight line parallel to the x-axis, and you draw a total variable cost curve, which is going to be an inverse S shape, then if you add these two, the total cost curve will also look similar to the total variable cost curve, but it will not start from the origin. It will start from the point where the total fixed cost has started. Okay. By adding the total fixed cost and total variable cost, we obtain the total cost of the firm as shown in the figure 4.3. I'm sharing this link in the chat box for today. If anyone wants to write the note, you can refer to this link. I have shared the link in the chat box of Google Meet. Okay, you can follow this, and I will also upload this link tonight. But before that, if you want to write the notes, you can follow this link. Okay, till this much we'll study today, and tomorrow we will study how to calculate average fixed cost, average variable cost, and all that. Then how we will draw it in a graph. These graphs are very, very important, okay, in traditional theory and modern theory of cost. How they look like an envelope curve and all those things will come. So how these curves are behaving, from where they are coming, all those things will be covered over in this topic. Okay, so today you have to draw 3 diagrams in your copy, and you will have to explain what are the items that are falling in the fixed cost and the variable cost phenomena. Okay, so let me take the attendance. After that, you can leave the classroom. We'll meet again tomorrow at 8:40. Just a moment, okay? We'll respond and then only leave. All of you will unmute and respond, okay? Abhay Sharma.
Present, ma'am.
Aditya. Alsaba. Aman.
Yes, ma'am.
Goel.
Present, ma'am.
Aman Sharma. Ananta. Angela.
Present, ma'am.
Anish. Anisha.
Present, ma'am.
Ankit. Anmol.
Yes, ma'am.
Anmol Lama. Bhavesh. Bikash.
Present, ma'am.
Bishwadeep. Taru.
Present, ma'am.
Chirag. Deepika. Girish. Himani.
Present, ma'am.
Jaya. Kashish.
Present, ma'am.
Meghna.
Yes, ma'am.
Mehul. Parveen.
Present, ma'am.
Muskan Agarwal. No Muskan Agarwal present today. Neha. Nikhil. Nishita. Those who are done, you can leave the class, okay? Nishita, Nupur, Piyush, Pragati, Rageshwar,
Yes, ma'am.
Prashant,
Present, ma'am.
Pratham,
Present, ma'am.
Preeti,
Present, ma'am.
Poonam, Ronak,
Yes,
Ravi, Riyant, Riya
Present, ma'am.
Lama, Rohan, Ronak Agarwal, Sahil,
Yes, ma'am.
Shama, Srishti,
Yes, ma'am.
Sneha, Saurav,
Yes, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Sneha, Saurav Agarwal.
Neha.
Okay, given. Neha is present.
Neha Shanghai.
Okay, fine. Neha Shanghai. Saurav Agarwal, Srishti, Tamang, Suhana,
Present, ma'am.
Sujit,
Ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Suvneet,
Present, ma'am.
Swati,
Present, miss.
Swayam, Tanya,
Present, ma'am.
Yash, Yashika, Shreya.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right
Ma'am.
then. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Who is
Thank you,
this?
ma'am. Ma'am, Sarthak Bansal, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. All right, Sarthik, noted.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.